take us there. He says, worst main event ever. But like the good gambler he is. Hoping Cynthia makes me 3 units. Let's get into it right now. Women's flyweight bout, 5'6" American. Jessica Evil Eye, 15-7-0. It's a pick'em. Going up against 5'4" American Cynthia Calvillo, 8-1-1. It is a pick'em. Boston Nick, who are you picking?
Oof. I mean, Cynthia right now, she's moving up in weight here, if I'm not correct, right, Clint?
Yeah, normally she fights at 115. She's coming up to 125 on this one.
Okay. I mean, she's got a few decent wins at 115. Courtney Casey, JoJo Collier, which I know you love, Clint. That's one of your ex
girl JoJo.
Yep. But that was at 115 pounds. This is at 125 now. So I will be the bigger girl here for sure. You know what I mean? And yeah, she did come off a big loss to Valentina Shevchenko, but came back and beat Viviana Arroyo. I can never pronounce that last name right, but unanimously. And she's no slouch. This is a tough one. It's a coin flip, like the basically the odds. What are we getting on Eye right now, Jimmy?
It's a pick'em. -110.
I mean, if it's a pick'em right now and it's a 5-round fight, I believe that Cynthia might gas Jessica. It's a small lean to Jessica. Small lean to Jessica.
GK, what do you think about this pick'em? Oh, you're muted, my man.
Keep doing that. Sorry, guys. Worst main event in UFC history. Number 1. I don't know. This is a very evenly matched fight, but I think the size is going to make a huge difference here. And how Calvillo loves her striking now since she went over to Thailand and started working over there. And I think that newfound love of striking is really going to be at her detriment. Mm-hmm. I think she really needs to use that wrestling to win this fight. And if she doesn't, and she thinks she's going to win a striking match against Jessica Eye, who's much bigger, much stronger than her, who has more pop in her strikes, she has another thing coming. And I'm at pick'em odds. I think I hate Jessica Eye. I despise that woman. She's super cringe. Like,
yeah, me too.
She's worse than Henry Cejudo. So
it's worse because she's not doing it on purpose.
You're right. You're right. That's just her.
But yeah, I'm going with Eye here, man. She's fought the better competition. She's fought the bigger girls. You're talking about Valentina Shevchenko, one of the best ever. I'm going with Eye here. I think she rolls over Calvillo.
GK liking Eye in this flyweight bout. Clint, what do you think here? What's the move?
So, Jimmy, not to put you on the spot, buddy, but did you end up playing those overs on the main event last week?
Well, the sad part was that I don't know if it's sad, but we went 10 hours, a full 10 hours on my show.
Oh, I know you did.
I was deep in the sauce, and what happened to me was as soon as that my show's over, I have to study for the next day's horse races. So I can't go watch. I have to go into a dark room alone and study, and so that's what I did. Sadly.
Do you not bet if you can't watch it, Jimmy? Are you one of those guys? I am.
Generally, but the thing is, I couldn't even have it on because I had the clock is ticking because now that Gulfstream starts so early. My show started at 11. So when we were done our show, my next show started in 13 hours and 50 minutes, and I had 5 cards. It's
over 100 races, right?
It's like 24. It's like the TV show 24. You know.
I'm so sad to hear that, Jimmy, because you were talking about taking every single over in the book, and the fight went the decision. Yeah. You would have cashed every single one of them. And my over 2.5 at +140. That over 3.5 was +200. The over 4.5 was +330. Would have been a massive, glorious night. And I was hoping you would just show me a fistful of money.
Yeah. You have 1.5 to be safe, like you know what I mean? And I regret it. I should take the over 2.5. Yeah, I put 3 units on it, but still the over 2.5 at plus money, right? You got Clint plus money?
I got it way early at +140. It was sitting around +125 for a while and closed around -120.
Well, the angle really was you got this Canadian underdog who's going to take a beating, And we know what you know about Canadians is you can keep punching them in the face. They'll keep
They're
coming
tanks.
at you. And so we had this Canadian underdog. And then if you're watching with your boys drinking, every second that goes by, you're making more money. Right. So how much fun is that?
Yep.
I'm sad that I didn't get to run in. Are you thinking something similar here?
Well, we don't have totals on this one yet. So unfortunately, I'm not able to go quite that hard on this one. I don't think it's quite the same setup because I know people are poo-pooing this fight. I know everyone's talking about how bad of a fight that this is. But honestly, guys, it's a really good matchup. Stylistically speaking, for the MMA hardcores like ourselves, this is a fun fight. These two match up really, really well. We've got Calvillo, who is a gorgeous girl that the UFC is looking to get behind. She is a brand material fighter moving up a weight class to take on a former title challenger. I think the UFC is trying to get one over on Jessica Eye here. I think they want Calvillo to win this fight. And Calvillo looks very, very motivated. She struggled at 115. Even though she's a little bit smaller, I think she's going to look pretty good at 125. I want to see them when they face off. I want to see them on the scales and see just how big that size difference is. But Calvillo is a solid, solid prospect, Jimmy. I heard a lot of people talking about how her last fight against Courtney Casey, she barely got by a terrible fighter in Courtney Casey. And people were talking about how she went 0-6 on her takedowns. And this is a girl who's supposed to be a grappler. She couldn't get a takedown on Courtney Casey. Guys, watch that tape again. She didn't want the takedown. She was toying with Courtney Casey. She was testing out her boxing. This girl's been working out at Tiger Muay Thai and now at AKA, and she's improving every single time we see her. She saw an opponent who she wasn't threatened, and if she ever needed to, she could pull it out of her back pocket, that grappling, and hit the mat, but she just never needed to because she dominated in the striking realm. That was a test fight. That's like when Khabib took out Al Iaquinta and decided not to grind him on the mat. He wanted to feel that 25-minute champion fight because it was the one time he felt safe enough to do so. And I really feel like that's affecting this line right now, is the fact that she fought close with Courtney Casey. I'm on Calvillo here, Jimmy. I haven't locked in the bet yet because I see money coming in on I, and I think I'm going to get plus money on Calvillo. She's an even money underdog right now. I think it's going to get bigger. And I is actually coming into this fight a little bit on short notice. They told Calvillo, I think Calvillo was getting ready for a fight sooner, and then I was offered the fight later. She's kind of jumping in here at the last second. We know with these COVID situations, I don't know how well her gas tank is going to be here. And we know Calvillo is going to be able to go the full 25 minutes of this fight. On top of that, what we've seen from Aya is she's always struggled with wrestlers, Jimmy. I talk about this on my podcast a lot. The threat of the takedown, not the actual takedown, but simply the threat of the takedown shells people up. If you think, you know what, I don't think I can stop this girl and I really don't want to be underneath her, you are hesitant. You don't fire strikes. The other person, on the other hand, all they've got to do is lean down and touch your thigh to remind you, I can put you on your ass, and then they can open up with their hands more. And on top of that, my girl Calvillo averages 4.12 significant strikes per minute when compared to Jessica Eye's 3.79. I know it's not a huge margin, but she is averaging more output in the striking realm. I think she's going to edge out rounds. She likes to seal rounds with takedowns. And even though Jessica Eye has been working on her grappling, it's always been the Achilles heel in her game. She's only got a 59% takedown defense rating. And we saw, now we can't compare Calvillo to the great Valentina Shevchenko. But as soon as this fight hit the ground, she had no way to get up. There was no answer to the ground game. She has a good guard. She can reestablish her guard and keep herself out of bad positions when Eye is on her back, but she doesn't have a way to get back to her feet. I honestly think this is going to be close on the feet. I think Eye has got more power, but I think Calvillo is actually faster and more technical at this point, and I think Calvillo having that grappling in her back pocket is going to be the difference maker. I've got Calvillo here, and the way that she was talking, she talked in an interview I heard earlier this week about not wanting to leave this fight to the judges. Jimmy, I'm not going to touch an over on this one because I think there's a half outside shot that Calvillo goes for the kill.
She said that, huh?
She did.
Do you think that she might have fell in love with her striking a bit too much, where she over at Muay Thai,
No, sir. She's training out at AKA, buddy. Who else in this world is known for their grappling other than AKA? They've got Cain Velasquez, Daniel Dice Cormier.
Before that?
What's that?
Did she come from Tiger Muay Thai before that?
She was training at Tiger Muay Thai before that, and for this camp, because of the COVID situation, she's hanging out at AKA. Her grappling is going to be sharp. It's going to be on point.
Yeah, smaller cage too. You're right. I mean,
and like I said, she didn't fall in love with her striking. She needed to test her striking at an elite level, and she picked the right opponent to do it.
I'm going to go back on my lean here. It's not to Jessica. It's on Cynthia. It's on Cynthia with the dog, especially the small cage.
I just need to know that Calvillo is going to go for the takedowns. If she does that, then we know that Calvillo is the right side. But it just I need to know that. You know,
I want to see her at the scales, like you said. My biggest thing here is I got to see Cynthia after the weigh-ins. It's my biggest thing here on my notes is I have to see Cynthia after the weigh-ins to see what she looks like up against Jessica because, like we were talking about earlier, the bigger girl usually wins. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and did any of you guys watch her last fight against Marina Rodriguez?
Yeah. Was it a draw?
It was a draw.
Yeah.
Marina Rodriguez had massive physical advantages on Cynthia Calvillo. Jimmy, I know you probably don't know this one. She came out like a bat out of hell. She's an impressive striker. She's got a height and reach advantage, and she basically messed Calvillo up for 2 rounds. But you know what Calvillo did? Instead of going back and calling it quits, instead of throwing in the towel or just taking her beating, in round 3, she came out and she put Rodriguez on her ass, and she almost finished the fight, Jimmy. She laid such a beating on her that in an MMA game where people do not like giving 10-8 rounds, she scored 2 10-8 rounds on the judges' scorecards and forced that fight to a draw.
Yeah,
if that fight had 30 more seconds in it, 20 more seconds in it, she would have got the TKO victory, and I think that's the blood that she is tasting. I think after doing that to a high prospect like Rodriguez, I think she knows that she's got that ability to finish, and she's got the gas tank to do it after getting her ass beat for 2 rounds. So Calvillo is the person in this fight that can pull that finish out of her back pocket. If she gets down 2 rounds, if we're in round 4, if we're in round 5, she has the grit, the determination, and that never quit attitude to come back and get that finish. I like Calvillo a lot here. And like I said, I like her at an even money underdog, but I think I might get plus 120. So I'm going to sit tight for just a second. If it bounces back the other way, I'm probably going to lock it in sooner than later.
The only thing in my mind that's messing me up right now with this fight is just her going up to 125. You know what I mean? She did all that against 115-pound girls, and I just it's tough.
She's a thick 115er, Nick. She struggled with that weight cut, and with I coming in on shorter notice, I think I's going to have a gas tank issue. And if I has a gas tank issue and Calvillo does not with the extra 10 pounds,
of course. But you know that Cynthia has. It's not. She hasn't been able to make weight because it's a little bit of laziness in a lot of people's opinions. And she could make 115 pounds if she wanted to, but she's a little bit lackadaisical when it comes to what she wants to eat. So that's why she's fighting at 125 right now. I think she should drop back down to 115 and get her diet right, and she'd be a serious contender there. Obviously, she's not a serious contender at 125 pounds. We know what Valentina would do to her. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna lean here, Cynthia, just simply off its 5-round fight, smaller cage, and I think she'll be able to get it to the ground.
Cynthia Calvillo building steam here with the cappers that we are rolling with. Thank you guys so much for joining. It's been real fun. But before we go, best bet time.